leading the way with important local coverage. You're watching WISN 12 News at 5.
The states may not have the money.
Federal funds for COVID testing are about to run out. Lawmakers are sounding the alarm. 12 News is getting answers on what needs to happen to avoid a potential crisis in Wisconsin. And
well, in a year like this, that means a lot. We've been, I'm sorry.
Speechless after devastating November storms, the damage to this farm in Burlington.
And on this Veterans Day, a salute to service members, the special event to honor them safely during the pandemic.
First at 5, state health officials have confirmed more than 7,000 new coronavirus cases and 62 more deaths today.
That marks the third time this week Wisconsin has surpassed the 7,000 mark for single-day results. With the additional 7,048 cases reported today, there have been nearly 286,000 cases and 2,457 deaths statewide. Late this afternoon, Pepin County reported its first COVID death, which means all 72 Wisconsin counties have reported at least one death.
Experts have said that one key to stopping the spread is testing, but the governor and others are warning the federal funds for COVID testing are about to run out here in Wisconsin.
WISN 12 News' Sarah Tamer is live at Miller Park's testing site there. And Sarah, the funding deadline is December 31st.
Yes, Toya, and thousands get tested here weekly, but federal funding is about to run out, according to the governor. He's urging people to call Congress. Meanwhile, state lawmakers are bracing to pick up the tab. In his statewide address Tuesday, Governor Tony Evers sounded the alarm on funding for COVID testing.
The federal CARES dollars we received earlier this year expire on December 31st. That means unless we get additional support from Congress, our state will have to foot the bill.
CARES Act dollars have funded many of the state's COVID-19 related programs, from testing and contact tracing to personal protective equipment and more.
So please contact your congressperson and ask them to provide additional support and resources for our state's response to this virus.
I consider myself called.
Milwaukee Congresswoman Gwen Moore says she's heard from her constituents.
What will you do to make sure that funding doesn't run out?
Well, as you know, I have one vote in the House of Representatives, and I have done my part to do it. I mean, the issue really is that right now I'm calling on the residents to call Ron Johnson.
We did call the Republican senator. His spokesperson said he was not available today. State Representative Robin Voss told 12 News if federal dollars run out, the state will likely step in.
Luckily, we have a strong rainy day fund. We had a very good balanced budget that happened in the last session, so our economy continues to grow. So if we have to invest state dollars, of course we will.
You ask the questions, are states going to have to pay for it? The states may not have the money.
Sarah joining us live once again. And what are other lawmakers saying about this situation?
Well, Toya, Congressman Glenn Grothman and Congressman-elect Scott Fitzgerald were not available today to answer my questions. I haven't heard back yet from Congressman Brian Stiles' office either, but Senator Tammy Baldwin did respond with a statement saying in part she, quote, supports legislation passed by the U.S. House of Representatives last month to provide $75 billion for testing and tracing. The statement goes on to say that the funding has been opposed by Republicans in the House and Senate. Toya.
All right, Sarah, thank you.
The UW system is rolling out a rapid testing program because of rising case numbers in Wisconsin. The federal government purchased the tests. They are free to Wisconsin residents. It only takes 15 minutes to get the results. The FDA says rapid tests are not as reliable, so more testing with longer turnaround times can be done on site. Tests start for the public tomorrow at UW-Madison and are already underway at UW-Milwaukee. Adrian Pedersen spoke with Tommy Thompson, the interim UW system president, today.
So many people are walking around, are spreading the disease that don't show any symptoms. And the only way we can find those asymptomatic spreaders, those super spreaders we call them, is by having this massive testing program.
You used to be the governor of this state. What more do you think the state needs to be doing?
Well, I think, we're in this, all of us are in this together. This is not a Democrat or Republican. This is all citizens in America. The only way you can win is by testing and wearing a mask. We're hoping that people wear their masks, social distance, get tested, and wash your hands. Simple task. and all of us can do it. If you want to join the fight, join the University of Wisconsin, the new Wisconsin idea. We're in a fight for our lives. Let's do it together.
The former governor told Adrian if this rapid testing program is successful, it'll be rolled out across the country. To register for a test at one of the UW locations, head to our website, WISN.com.
A doctor at UW's School of Medicine in Madison is worried about hospitals becoming overwhelmed during this current COVID surge.
We have enough ventilators. I think one of the benefits of seeing a later surge than some areas like New York is that we have had more time to prepare. And so in terms of equipment, we are pretty well set for this current number of patients that we're seeing. One of the things that gets lost in the discussion about ventilators and equipment is that you can't just make more highly skilled people. And so the things that will start to be short as time goes on are our nurses, our physicians, the rest of the staff in the hospital that helps us do our jobs.
Dr. Hilly Faust went on to say UW Health had to open a second ICU for COVID patients at their Madison hospital. She says all the added patients are putting a strain on the entire system.
And coming up this Saturday, the Badgers return to the field to take on the Michigan Wolverines. For the past 2 weeks, the Badgers had to sit and watch as they were dealing with a COVID outbreak. The school announced Monday that they currently have 5 active cases. The Badgers expect to play at Michigan Saturday night right here on WISN 12 at 6:30. They must play their remaining schedule to be eligible for the Big Ten Championship.
Breaking news now, a shooting in Milwaukee has left 2 injured, including a 10-year-old girl. Police say it happened near 25th and Chambers this afternoon. Investigators say a 19-year-old male and 10-year-old victim were both seriously hurt and are now being treated at a hospital. We, of course, will bring you the latest information online and on air when it does become available.
Today is Veterans Day. Celebrations look a bit different this year due to the pandemic. Burlington held a special event to salute the troops. 12 News photojournalist Ivan Lazarevich brings us the sights and sounds from their Veterans Day parade.
Throughout our nation's history, there's been a unique group of citizens who have selflessly stepped forward to protect the freedoms of all. To every American veteran, Veterans Day means much more than just a federal holiday. It is on this Veterans Day that we honor the contributions and sacrifices of the more than 23 million living veterans and service members who proudly served our country and signed on the dotted line without knowing what their fate may be.
Today is a day to remember our service members who have served and recognize them for their service.
Thank you ever so much. No problem. You don't have to thank me for doing something I wanted to be.
A simple thank you is all that most service members would like you to give them, but today we want to just appreciate veterans in just a little different way.
Thank you.
We're having a drive-through event where the veterans can come through. We'll recognize them for their service and say thank you and give them a little token of appreciation from us.
Thank you, guys.
President Donald Trump helped lay a wreath at a rainy Arlington National Cemetery today. It was his first public appearance since Joe Biden was projected to win the presidential race. President Trump made no comment during the ceremony.
President-elect Joe Biden spent Veterans Day in Philadelphia. He placed a wreath at the Korean War Memorial and issued a statement thanking veterans for their service.
The president continues his election fight. He sent out this tweet today about Wisconsin. It reads, quote, "The fake pollsters at ABC and the Washington Post produced a possibly illegal suppression poll just before the election, showing me down 17 points in Wisconsin when, in fact, on Election Day, the race was even, and we are now preparing to win the state. Many such deplorable instances," end quote. Joe Biden is the projected winner in Wisconsin by just over 20,000 votes.
Well, it took more than a week, but it is now projected President Trump has won the state of Alaska. As you can see on the Electoral College map, President-elect Joe Biden still leads 279 to 217. 270 electoral votes is the number needed to win the election.
Georgia has begun a recount of the 2020 presidential election. Currently, Joe Biden leads President Trump in that state by more than 14,000 votes. The state's deadline to certify election results is November 20th. And Georgia is also important in the battle for control of the Senate. Incumbent Republican Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue are in tight runoff races against Democrats Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff. Democrats need to win both races to take control of the Senate.
Last night's summer-like storm downed trees and power lines in Milwaukee, Racine, and Walworth counties. WISN 12 News' Hannah Hilliard shows us how the damage brought one farmer to tears.
It's a noise Michelle Cannon of Larryville Gardens doesn't like to hear.
I'm trained to hear flapping plastic because you don't like to hear flapping plastic. And so I heard big flapping plastic.
Tuesday night's storm and high winds in Burlington busted the cables holding her greenhouse in place, lifted it up.
This thing literally got pushed that far.
And moved it about 20 feet.
Quantify. There's $10,000 in spinach here alone. The tunnel was a $30,000 feature. So yeah, there's a lot of money lost.
What does that mean in a year like?
Well, in a year like this, that means a lot. We've been, I'm sorry.
Southwest of Cannon's farm, downed power lines and trees.
Here in Fontana, this tree toppled over during the storm and landed on the roof of this home. It busted through the kitchen, but no one was here at the time.
Seconds, it went from like this to just 100 mile, I don't even know. You couldn't see anything. You could hear all the trees cracking down, like seeing them fall down out the window.
So out came the tools, big and small, to clean up what they could.
So this is hard. This is a loss. And the work involved in getting this, to get this back up or even off in order to do something else. I've never done anything like this. I have no idea what's going to happen.
In Walworth County, Hannah Hilliard, WISN 12 News.
It's a November weather reality check. Mark, it was not a bad day, just a shock to the system after that long stretch of warm.
I'll tell you what, if we didn't have those 8 beautiful days in a row, we would have a day like today and say, man, what a beautiful November day. 44 degrees right now. We got to 47 degrees. That's just a couple of degrees short of the average high, which is 49 degrees. At least we did get the sun nice and clear out there for right now. But it's a whole lot colder than it's been. Temperatures down in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees, 44 right now in Milwaukee, and that's 28 degrees colder than this time yesterday. Of course, we were still in the 70s, 34 degrees colder than it was 24 hours ago in Kenosha. Temperature-wise, dropping back down in the 30s for tonight. How long the sunshine sticks around and we're going to warm up again coming up in Weather Watch 12.
Thank you. The WISN 12 Food for Families campaign benefiting the Hunger Task Force has returned this year, but will be all virtual due to the pandemic.
Joyce Garbasiak joins us now from the Hunger Task Force with more information on this year's event. Joyce?
Patrick Toya, for the 9th straight year, WISN 12 is partnering with Hunger Task Force for our Food for Families drive. Now, typically, you may remember, this is when we'd be asking you when you're at the grocery store to pick up some extra items and put them in those familiar blue barrels. Can't do that this year because of the pandemic. It's forced us to call an audible, and we are joined now by Sherry Tussler, the Executive Director of Hunger Task Force, to tell us about ways people can still help. The pandemic has really been stressful on your organization and the people who need your help.
There are so many more people that are waiting in line. Most of our distributions are happening as drive-ups or walk-ups at this point. There are no more food pantries that are open with people coming indoors. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that that food is available to people in need. We've seen escalating numbers since August of this year.
All right, so if people cannot shop for food items, there is a way for them to help, and it's all virtual now. Can you explain what their donations will get?
What does everybody want at Thanksgiving but a turkey? There's a virtual food drive. The Food for Families has gone virtual, and so people can simply go online and pick a turkey. Or if they want to help out a family for the whole holiday, they can pick all of these things, or they can pick 1 or 2 things that they really like and remember as their favorite for the holiday.
So it really does give you a sense of shopping. All right, $15 donation for a turkey, $125 will get you all of this. You can go to WISN.com, Food for Families, check out that link, and you can do your shopping and help. You have helped us every year. Last year we raised more than $130,000. We're hoping and relying on your generosity yet again. Patrick Toya, back to you.
As we heard, a lot of people in need. Joyce, thank you. Well, coming up next, the Salvation Army's annual Red Kettle campaign returns in person. The adjustments the organization is making and when you'll be able to drop off donations.
And UPS lifts a specific employee ban. The rule the delivery company is doing away with is coming up.